Okay.
Welcome to February's full council meeting. Before we start, I'm going to read the fire drill notice. There's no planned fire alarm test this evening, and should the fire alarm go off, could you exit the building calmly and quickly using the stairway? Is there anybody that needs to use the lift? No? That's it. Prayers. And dear God, we come together before you today, inviting your peace and understanding to fill our minds and our hearts. Grant us wisdom to discern the best way forward, courage to speak honestly and respectfully, and compassion to support one another in our deliberations and decisions. Help us seek unity and common ground amidst different views and beliefs. Help us to foster an atmosphere of mutual respect and collaboration. Strengthen us to uphold integrity and righteousness in all of our endeavours. May the outcomes of our time together this evening bring glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah. Okay, so have we got any apologies for absence? Wendy Ainsley and William No. And Jacob Morton. Wendy sent apologies.
Sorry.
So declarations of interest. Have any members got any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-pecuniary interest? I suppose I ought to say I live along Theatre Street near the car park, don't I? But it's not a pecuniary interest. So, anyone else? No? To receive and agree the minutes of the full council meeting held on Wednesday, the 14th of January. So has everybody read them?
Yes.
Anybody got any comments or?
194 on the ranges. Is that in your report? About the recruitment.
I've got a little update.
Okay.
To receive reports from Norfolk County Council. I don't think we've got one from William, have we? Yeah, I think he said nothing's really changed from last time. Brecon District Council. Has anybody got any questions for Judy, our Brecon District Council here this evening? Any questions? I'm sorry, Steph.
It's okay. I'm just going to say sixth form, Judy.
Okay.
Because everybody's thinking it, and yeah, we might as well start the ball rolling with the sixth form centre. Yeah, might be.
So hang on, asking.
Save you asking.
Has gone a bit sort of shut up everybody's list in terms of comments, and quite rightly so. It is deteriorating. I can confirm that Breckland officers met with the developer just over 10 days ago on site. There is some equipment on site, and we are advised that things are moving forward. I did have a meeting with Andrew Gaten at the beginning of this week. He was listed building officer, and he hadn't got any further information. So it is a case of watch this space. But I kind of go sort of every fortnight, and then I'll have a hit. Well, what's happening? I think that now that we're into 2026, it really should be.
Obviously, everything's happening on the inside, is it? In the inside perimeter, and obviously not the outside.
Well, now the original plans from the previous developer, but the existing developer said they were going to follow the same remit. Was that the building at the front was done first before they actually built the 17 houses
In there, yeah.
in the back. But I haven't heard any more on that, so I'm sorry I don't have anything else to update you with. But I'll try and do better for next month.
Fine.
Yeah, Judy, we on the planning committee we did get a notice of a variation of
Yes,
condition.
on the discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any news of that?
Well, that will just go through. I think that's the last one to do, John. I think they've gone through all the other notices of discharge. But that's about the traffic. That's the traffic regulation. Yeah. So that will just go through its process. I don't really see anybody's going to object to that.
Could jet wash the front of it down to make it.
Can I ask, are there any updates on the Lidl?
No, but I have to say it's pretty normal that these big supermarkets do take rather a long time because I haven't seen the appropriate plans, nothing's gone to planning. And I know when we done the Dereham one, that took absolutely months and months and months to get any further. But I will chase that one up, Lindsay, because we haven't heard anything from that.
No.
It's been quite quiet for a long time. I guess that must be concentrate on building the one at Dereham. But I will chase that.
Thank you.
The only thing I realised, I think it was that it's section on planning, section that it's the 26th of March that the date was for next discussions
Yeah,
on it.
okay. I will try and get something back this week on that and let you all know.
And I think, Judy, you wanted to say something about this letter, didn't you, about
Um,
parking?
Yeah, just to update on my report. Obviously, when I wrote this report, that was before the very unfortunate news. Very disappointed in that. That Courtyard Kitchens is not progressing.
Ah,
It's with Margaret's because obviously everybody was geared up for that.
Mm.
And I did speak to someone today at Breckland because obviously Breckland had put, it was 8,000 in there in terms of the reopen grant. So that was quite disappointing. But in terms of, I don't take up any of the public forum space. I just wanted to report on the item 206, which is about the car parking, which Kelly has sent in a thing to everybody about. Just to say that, first of all, I met with William Nunn this afternoon, and we're obviously looking at, he's got to get in touch with Highways, so there will be a meeting organised so we can get all parties together to talk about this situation about parking. I met with one of the teachers who I've been liaising with at Hartwood Primary School on Monday. And she's done a huge amount of work in terms of trying to get the children to walk and various traffic initiatives. And she had written to the police regarding this. And we kind of sort of forget about these things. And I must admit, I was one of those as well. But just to remind everybody that back in 2011, any on-street parking offences were decriminalised from the police. So the police have doesn't come into that whatsoever, unless it is a danger, an obstruction, a danger to life, or to an emergency vehicle. So she was then referred to West Norfolk Borough Council, which is the enforcement control that comes around and does all the parking notices, etc., because that would come under their remit. And again, she had a reply back from them to say it is not part of the existing remit because they are given a list of the streets, areas that they patrol for putting tickets on people's cars. And obviously any other areas would have to be added to the list. And that, of course, has to be paid for somebody to do all of that. So I just wanted to update you on a bit about the police and the enforcement, and also ready to say that this problem is really quite exacerbated by each time there's a development. I mean, the thing with the school is that there has been a displacement of about 21 vehicles that used to park along the side of Camping Land Surgery. They have now been displaced by the development behind Camping Land Surgery.
Yep.
And I know it's only 21 cars, but they go somewhere else and it pushes everything all the way around to the peripheral roads. So that was just my update really to go with that item. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Thank you. Have we got anything from the police? No?
Can I ask a question on that? Have you got on record when the last time the police came or sent a report?
a long time ago.
Long time, quite a while.
Well, I think we should ask the police why they don't come or send a report.
Don't do it anymore.
They don't do it.
They don't do it anymore.
We take it off here.
No.
Take it off.
Yeah, take it off.
Is there any reason why they don't do it?
Could we ask them for a report about 2 weeks prior to past. So who do it, yeah, so. I know if I go to a snap meeting, I'll often report on that. But
You should have some sort of report of the crime and what's happening at the town. They used to have it. So
I think it's all
Snap
online.
meetings.
Yeah, they do the snap meeting once a. And
there must be a beat officer in the swap as
yeah.
well.
I think they're very busy at the moment.
Very busy, very busy.
Right, 203, a public forum now, so that's an opportunity for members of the public to address, well, we haven't got county, but district and town councillors, so anybody want to say? Yeah,
Hi there. Yeah, my name's Kelly Alford. I live on London Street. I emailed Norfolk County Council and the town councillors last week or the week before regarding the parking in London Street, which also has been exacerbated with the roads are no longer fit for purpose, the building works that are happening locally, the speed at what some of these cars actually go through London Street. The 20 plenty is no longer really working in any shape or form. It's very random. Since we've lived in London Street, the size of vehicles have literally multiplied. They're taller in some instances than the house. And the farm vehicles actually climb the pavements to go round other vehicles that are turning right into Haspel's Road. Now, the issue that I have at the moment is that I work quite late because of the nature of the job I do. And some days I come home and I literally cannot park Haspel's Road, London Street at 7 in the evening. Sometimes that may be 5 o'clock as well. You know, it's just very, very random. So what's happening is people are parking outside our house because there's a pace sort of like the pavement's just slightly wide enough. But what's then happening is mobility scooters and foot passengers can't get through. And because it's our house and we may be outside, we're the ones that are getting verbally abused about it, even though it's the neighbours or the neighbours' visitors or the neighbours' workforce that are actually attending the properties. Now, the reason why I've written is there's a whole mass of issues that are happening with building control, planning permission, policies that are coming obviously from central government down, and this is affecting us as a market town, and we need to look at this in the neighbourhood plan as well as what's happening now. You know, maintenance on a house is literally all the time because of the vibrations, you know, and it just continues, and it's just going to get worse. And people aren't considerate anymore. So, you know, the cars have been hit. We've had a few really bad accidents outside in the last few years, people coming out of Watton Road, or they've actually had literally the wheels come off the bottom of the cars where there's been an accident and things like that. So it is a fatality waiting to happen.
Mirrors comes off cars. I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kids running across because of it being sort of like an area opposite the shop. In theory, in the 11 years that I've lived here, I've never seen anyone that is disabled park in the 2 disabled bays that have been allocated outside that shop. So, you know, part of the letter that I wrote was, can we remove those? And can we look at the surrounding areas like Globe Hill and that, where we can put a few more spaces in with budgets and everything permitting, etc., to sort of assist people parking and how they park and where they park. Because if you've got houses that are being built, say from where I don't know the actual name of the house, but where the doctor's house used to be, that really nice.
Yeah, they're now building.
Yeah.
That. Yep.
They're all family homes. So they're going to have families of 4, 5 people in those, which are looking at 3, 4, 5 cars. And they won't be providing driveways for that amount of cars long term.
Yeah.
So it is something that's really serious.
Can I just ask Les whether because we amended this amendment to the neighbourhood plan, so do you want to say a little bit about?
Yeah, we're working on a review of the neighbourhood plan at the moment, but I have to say we comment on our planning committee ever so many times on exactly this thing.
Yeah.
But the national policy for and the Norfolk highways policy for parking is the standard that is applied, and it's some, I can't remember exactly, but it's sort of 2.5 or so many spaces per number of bedrooms. And all those properties in off London Street that you're talking about have all complied with that. And what you're saying is what we realise, that
potentially there's a pocket of land behind us that could eventually, not in the not too distant, come up for redevelopment by someone. And you're talking, they will try and squeeze probably a dozen houses on there if you're lucky. But again, we're at that junction where Water Road is there, that it's very dangerous as it is.
yeah,
The volume of traffic, I mean, summer season, and I say summer season when it starts at March and goes all the way through to October, it takes sometimes 10 minutes just to cross that road on a Saturday, you know, and it's getting worse.
and you probably know that is in the current neighbourhood plan as a congestion point. And we have commented there was an application down the bottom of Watton Road at the back of the Redlands site that was refused planning permission. And one of the reasons we objected to that was because of the impact on that congestion.
I mean, the roads really logically are not fit for purpose for what's happening, and the upkeep of the housing has been really poor along the sort of main arteries into Swaffham, because they've been, you know, bought by landlords who have just let them, you know. So again, there's this continual fight for lots of different reasons. And I don't think the older housing, like what we live in, the sort of 1850s cottages, you know, actually is considered in any of this neighbourhood plan as to how we deal with what we've got there now, which actually, can we make that part of the conservation area? That, do you see what I mean? Because you know, what we're building is just standard boxes with grey windows, the same, you know, bit of cladding, a bit of this, which will go out of fashion in however many years' time, and we're left with that, and then it's, you know, it just keeps perpetuating. So, you know, my issue at the moment is I'm getting verbally abused. I don't want to be verbally abused by people on motor, you know, mobility scooters, and people who are walking because they can't get past. I live there. I don't park out there. I drop stuff off and then I drive off and go and park where I can. But I even, in the 11 years, I've never parked there. So yeah, it's becoming a really big issue now. And like what Judy is saying, I support that where there's cars that are displaced, it's only going to shift them to areas. And also a lot of the landlords are selling up, obviously, for the reasons that are happening at the moment in the current climate. So you have like people coming in, youngsters or that have 2 or 3 cars. You know, and again, it's just getting worse.
So it's just that they're actually parking on the pavement a lot of the time.
Yes.
Which isn't a police matter. If they're blocking or parking on a pavement, it is a police matter. So I would be, every time it happens, I would be calling the police. The more times you call them, the more nuisance you make, the more they're likely to take notes of you.
Absolutely. And this,
you know, I understand where you're coming from, and I've seen it down there myself, how bad it is. But you know, what we have got no powers as such. The police are the ones who should be coming along and saying you shouldn't be parking on that pavement. It's a pavement, not a road.
I think at the moment, I totally agree with you. We need to look at Swaffham and the planning and everything holistically. It cannot be just done in individual segments. We need to look at the neighbourhood plan, where they're wanting to build long term, you know, because it's not going to just happen on London Street, Lynn Street, Station Street. It's going to end up being elsewhere as well. And all it is, we're sort of 10 years behind what we should have been doing with regards to planning and everything like that, you know. And
so obviously the junction where the Water Road junction is, and then where the new houses are, obviously they're both going to come out onto that road, aren't they? It's not going to be a separate bit.
We did object to it.
so you've got, I think, 5 houses in 5. I think originally it was 7,
Right.
but I think there's 5 there now. And then if you take what could be happening behind where I live on, which is opposite the shop, there's potentially enough room there to maybe put another dozen, you know, that would come out of small driveways between houses onto London Street, which is a main drag through town, the kind of gateway to the coast. The speed at some of the lorries go through the night is just horrific.
You've got Water Road, you've got the junction where the new houses are being built, and then you've got the little road between the cottages, haven't you? That little, yeah,
Well,
and then you've
so
got Pleasant
three.
Row.
You've got Pleasant
So
Road,
you've
you've got
got-
4.
Yeah, so you've got Pleasant
Coming
Row.
out onto the
In
road.
there, there's a driveway where that used to have a garage on it that was raised to the ground that Mr. and Mrs. Impson own. That was raised. Their idea was they would sell the land behind us and the driveway. The driveway through Pleasant Row would be the access in, and the access out would be between our houses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The little driveway where
Yeah.
119 is poked at the back.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And that was the idea. You know, and there's a lot of land there, a lot of land.
Can I just come in on that one? The problem you've got there spreads all the way down Watton Road as well. There's chock-a-block right down to the Oaklands.
Yeah.
And there's
Well,
more traffic coming up that road.
Yeah.
We have the same problem in Whitsands Road, I mean, because
But if we're looking at parking in the town, you know, so someone will say to me, well, you know, park at Theatre Street and walk back to your home. I can do that. That's not an issue. But when I want to offload or when it's 7 o'clock at night and I've driven the A17 from Scunthorpe, you know, and I'm like,
Just want to go home.
I just want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want, and it's generally people there and the cars are getting bigger. You know, people are buying these sort of bigger SUVs. The roads are no longer fit for purpose,
No.
and
Roads are awful.
they're not maintained properly. So Anglian Water will come along, do a patch job within 6 months. It's all churned up from the traffic.
Weeks, it does.
You know, and it's a perpetual. And we need to start looking at value for money, things that are holistic, how we look at and what we want within Swaffham, and actually start negotiating that with planning and putting it up the line. It's great for central government to turn around and start putting, you know, we build here, we build there, we build everywhere. But actually, how does it affect the people and what, especially the historical side of things, like how housing.
Join Swaffham Council. Done you now.
Join us.
You get my vote.
You'd get my vote, you've got good views.
Yeah,
Should we
Paul.
not ask, or send a copy of this report to William Nunn, our county councillor?
That's what I was about.
regretfully he's not here.
Yes, shame he's not here. Yeah, that's probably why he's not come.
Is there any-
100%, you know it is.
any other members of the public want to say anything? No? No? Okay. We'll carry on then. Right, back into session. Right, receive reports from the mayor, right, it's a quick one again, involving our MP. So, obviously, he came to Swaffham, Terry Jeremy, to see the Heritage Regeneration Project in action. I think you probably saw it in the papers. And to meet with the various partners involved and how they've been working together to deliver the project. So that was that. Go through everybody that was there, but I'm sure you've seen it in local press. Then the following day, I visited him in his constituency office in Thetford, along with other representatives from local villages that were going to be impacted by Highgrove Solar Farm. So we were talking about that. And there's a lot of concerns from local residents, obviously, about that. It's going to be a huge site, and he's doing his best to try and support the local parishes. But it's very difficult for him because he's part of the government that's pushing this forward. So he's walking a very, very narrow line. I think the problems that Swaffham's going to experience are going to be mainly around transport and leisure networks, because obviously the thing's got to be built and most of the traffic will be coming through Swaffham. So that's my report. So the next one is from Leanne, Deputy Clerk.
So we've had 7 applications so far for the town warden vacancy. So the closing date is Sunday. And interviews will take place week commencing 23rd of February. The cemetery barrier, the posts for the barrier will be installed tomorrow. The groundwork for the footpath has started and will be completed when the weather eventually dries. June. Yeah. The town trail booklet, they've received lots of positive feedback. These trail booklets are available from various market stalls, the town hall and the museum, which will reopen on Saturday. The town guide has been sent to print today and is expected to be delivered to the town council week commencing 23rd of February. We will do a call out for councillors and resident volunteers to help with hand delivering to every team. So again. Just a thank you to all the staff and councillors who helped to distribute 3,500 leaflets to residents regarding the neighbourhood plan, solar farm and car park consultation. And just to update you, the works team, due to the wet weather, they've been decorating the offices downstairs, clearing out Sue's news and moving equipment from the chapel to the Brownville Road storage unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have we got a museum report? No.
Not a lot, but one thing I did want to make you aware of is concerning the profitability of the museum. And Judy's husband, Richard, did an analysis of this for us. In 2004, the gross profit was 2,000 or just over. Then for 2005, the gross profit was 4,374.
Wow.
So that's a huge increase profitability for the museum. Done very well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Did you say them figures again?
Sorry.
Did you say
And
the
the-
figures
and the
again?
year.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
I just asked, it's a lot of that due to the shop. A lot of it is, yeah. I thought it was, yeah. Yeah, because it's picked up a huge amount. And they've cleared out a lot of dross and
Yeah, that's definitely.
got reasonable stuff in there now with a reasonable profit margin. Good.
Look forward to it opening again on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, all welcome.
Right, so late or urgent items, I think Les, you've got one, haven't you, about the?
Oh, yeah, right. I'll try and be quick. This has come, you might remember that we are, the town of Swaffham is one of the towns put forward by Norfolk County Council and Breckland District Council as an action town in the Norfolk Climate Change Partnership. Okay, the Swaffham Climate and Environment Group are closely involved in this, and they've come to me and asked if I would make a quick request to the town council tonight, because one of the things that's come out of this is that there will be a thermal imaging camera available for people in the community to borrow. And what that is used for is to check your house and see where there's heat leakage from it. They're asking us, the town council, if we would support this initiative, and possibly in the future, as it progresses, we may be asked to be responsible for this camera. And the idea would be that we would have it, and then we would loan it out in a responsible way to different community groups. And the advantage to the town is that it links in to the government's Warm Homes programme, which I think they've relaunched, and this time it should be a lot better. And this initiative, it should allow people to access grants and things from that by using the camera to highlight where they need assistance with it. So all they're asking for tonight is really for us to say that we would support the initiative. That's all.
Yeah.
We're not.
Have they got it?
They haven't got it yet, but it's knowing that there's somewhere perhaps for it to go to and that we support it will help them to get it. And before, will we need to have a vote on that?
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay.
If there's are they going to be asking for any contribution towards it, or is it just a moral support?
It is just support for it, as indeed Breckland and Norfolk County Council support it, and they're asking us to support it. And possibly provide a home for it so that it's only.
I don't know.
It's similar to what the fire service uses.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Handheld device.
Yeah, and they're having a demonstration next Wednesday. I think it is the 18th.
Is
Yeah,
that the Methodist church?
at the method at 6 o'clock, where you would be able to see it demonstrated. If anyone's interested, I will pop along.
Yes. So does anybody want to make a proposal?
Yeah, I suppose we do accept it. If it's only just a case of a story and morally supporting that, I can't see why we wouldn't.
No.
Second. Second, yeah, okay, those in favour. Anything else?
Thank you.
Right.
But feel free.
Yes,
Feel free.
So we've dealt with 206, so we need okay, 206. To rescind and overturn the decision of Swaffham Town Council made on the 8th of October. Oh, I'm not going to read it all. The offer letter of transferring Theatre Street and Lynn Street car park to the Town Council. So I think we've got the necessary signatures, haven't we? So over to you people. Do you want, is it best perhaps to go around the table and everybody say a little bit, or how do you want to do it?
I'll start thinking like,
Go on.
I was quite happy to sign that. I thought it was warranted coming back. I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, why are we doing it? Going through it all again?" But I think it warranted having a further discussion of it. Myself, as I said before, I'm really a 50-50 on this. My biggest worry with it is the cost of the actual running and the upkeep of the car parks. Now, I know at a later stage we could possibly charge from, it could go on the rates, but we're probably talking about £50,000 a year as a management cost for these car parks. Yeah, that's what worries me. But I can understand that most of the other towns have gone down that route and have accepted it. But I'm still really sitting on the fence on this, and I don't know. I'll see what other people are saying, but really, I think, yes, it would be good for us to get them in our control and that not have to worry about what happens when the new unitary or whatever takes place in the future. We will have control and we will be able to make the decisions of what the charge would be, whether we charge or not. I think that would be good. But really, it's this running cost. Now, my view is, and I'll say my bit, I think option 4 is a good one, because obviously we've got to pay out, I think it's 500 and something odd thousand to purchase them. I forget the exact amount, but we've got it there somewhere.
515.
550, but we'd get approximately half of that back in grants over a 5-year period. So the actual car park would cost us about 250, something in that region. And that a little bit of funds money coming in as a grant would help with the running cost over the 5 years following that. Now, that is my thinking at the moment. I'm not going to say which way I'm going to vote at the moment. I'm still sitting on the fence, but that's my thoughts on it.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody else?
Well, I'll go next. I go along mostly with what Paul has said, that it is the worry of the cost. And we've got to dig very deep into our reserves to find this 500 and some odd £1,000, which is going to mean that won't come straight back into the kitty. We've got to drip feed that back over 5 years, haven't we? And then if we have other big commitments that we want to go ahead with, is that going to tie up money that's going to stop us doing other things? And that's what worries me.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah. Well, for me, the only car park that I would be interested in is the Theatre Street car park. And I think the biggest question is whether we want to provide that parking free of charge or charge for it. And if we provide it free of charge, I think one of the options, we could get it for nothing if we weren't charging, but we would still have the cost of maintaining it. And if you know, that would be I think a considerable cost. So I would like to have control of the car park, but I think we would have to be prepared to pay for that privilege.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so for me personally, there's two options. There's option one, which is we get the car park for free, but there's conditions on the car parking, or option two, where we get the car park for free and there's no conditions, so we can charge or not charge. My personal thing is option two. Regardless of what happens here, even if this goes out, we don't take the car parks on, it goes back, there will be charges put in place. However, we won't have operation control and we won't have control over how much it will cost, which is a big factor in this. Additionally, we have to look, we had a great brainstorming session this afternoon about what could possibly happen with regeneration programs within town. We will lose a lot of car parking space if that goes ahead, but for the greater good. Now, that makes Theatre Street more important because it's central. That even came up this afternoon, how central Theatre Street would be. Also, on top of that, I think it would be remiss of us to actually ignore taking on the Lynn Street under that situation. Now, a survey has been done, the Highways did the car park survey and both surveys, and the car parks, actually the surfaces and everything are in really good condition. They were only done like 6-7 years ago. When it comes to maintenance costs, a lot of that will come back in house. When it comes to gritting, looking after things, the actual general maintenance of it, the town warden could take on some of that as well. I think that it's just the actual basics of the car park services itself, what we do with that, with the actual implementation of parking and what would come along with that, with the machines being implemented. But I think that is something that we can kick along the road as to the first year, possibly no charging, we take the hit. And then we can look at actually how much this is costing us and look to whether or not we go down the road of implementing charges. Also, I think we have to look at, parking permits. We already have the issue with people. We do not want to displace more people out of Theatre Street car park to actually then compound the issue that's already happening along most of our residential roads. So we have to look at that also. I think there is an argument here. I understand what you're saying, Paul, about purchasing it under option 4, but that's a huge outlay just to get drip fed in some for 5 years, only to then in 5 years from now go down that road of saying, well, we cannot afford as a council to outlay that money in the beginning, which is 515,000, only to get 249,000 back, over 5 years. That to me, that's false economy. We, somewhere along the line, we will lose out big time. However, getting the car parks for free from Breckland, we have the option under option 2 to send the letter in under that local act, and that's my own personal opinion on it.
Right, anybody else?
Yeah.
David?
It's pretty much mirror what Jen has said. Obviously, today we need to make a decision as to whether we have the car parks or we don't have the car parks. How we charge or don't charge is down the road. So it's our decision. If we give it away, so the unitary authority, which basically what you're going to do if you don't take the car parks, they do what with it, what they will. So they'll go private company, NCP, whoever, they'll charge what they like. So people of Swaffham and visitors are less likely to want to park in that car park. They will start parking in side streets and residential areas to avoid paying £5 for an hour's parking.
People
Paul?
Yeah, can I answer Jen partly? Part of the cost is going to be the rates, which is about, Leanne can tell us the exact amount, 20 odd thousand. So the minimum you got to pay a year is that amount. Straight away, as soon as you get it, you've got to start paying that. So that's the minimum you'd pay a year. So you just saying there's no cost is,
No, I didn't say there was no cost, Paul.
Right.
What I said was there will be costs, and either way,
Yeah.
regardless of which way you look at it, charges will have to be implemented.
But-
My argument there is where you come to say, well, let's buy the car park under option 4, and then we can look at charges, we'll get this money back. Well, in 5 years from now, you'll have a situation where we're not getting that money drip fed in, but you're still having to pay the rates. If you then take it on under option 2, you've got a hit this year of £22,000, not of outlay of 516,000. We can then, after that first year, then look at how much it's actually costing us revenue wise and implement charges accordingly, whether there's a free limit to start off with and then £1 an hour, or if there is, we can then actually take the hit through the precept of then having
to get, sorry, if I can just finish up, because part of that is, you say it's only 20 odd that. It's not going to be only 20. You've got administration costs, you've got to have legal costs, you've got to have all that sort of thing added onto that. If you go down the paid parking route,
One person at a time, please. So
if you go down the paid parking route, you're going to have machines put in to do it. You're going to have somebody there to monitor. All right, I know they say, well, you can get it all back by fines and all this sort of thing, but that's wishful thinking in my mind. But I'm sitting on, I agree. I don't want to go to the unitary authority because I can see that being sort of charged the same sort of rate as what you'd have to pay in King's Lynn. But, you know, I don't want that. I'm really a 50-50 on whether you take them on or not. And that is the way I'm seeing it.
right, Jill.
Yes, can this town afford it? I mean, the budget always seems so tight every year. I just want to know, £50,000 seems a lot of money. Can we?
Okay. Has anybody else?
Well, I'd just like to point out the survey that no one's.
The revised budget.
So what do you mean by revised budget?
Take bits from other budget lines. We've got the interest on capital money, which feeds into the general fund, which we don't allocate anywhere. So that is available.
And you said that the surface was absolutely fine.
Yeah, highways came in loop.
And how long will that last?
25 years.
Right, fine, thank you.
We're not, that was only Theatre Street. You didn't look at Lynn Street.
No. Okay, thank
But
you.
that would have to be, we'd have to put money in the budget to actually every year to make sure that they can afford that when it comes up. Because I think it's going to, I know it's going to be a considerable cost when we do have to resurface it, isn't it? Oh,
But I'd just like to point out what the survey said. The survey, that was about 85% was in favour of the town taking the car parks, wasn't it?
yeah. Our survey.
You know, I think the whole point, you have to take control of the assets. The town has to take control. There's no point having some to say we don't want them, and 5 years down the line, and private company comes in and start charging £7 a day, and permit parking's gone, and you can't park it in the car. We take control of the car parking.
Yeah.
I would just like to clear one point. At no point have I said it's just this amount of money. It will. I am fully aware of the overall cost that this car park is going to cost us in the long run. I do not take for granted the money that we will have to invest in keeping this car park. What I am invested in is what we need going forward for Swaffham based on the results of the survey, but our own personal input from residents such as Kelly about the displacement of parking and what we're going to do, and also based on what we've done this afternoon. Like I said, we had a constructive meeting where we looked at the town and what we could do possibly with it. And if that kind of goes ahead in any form, we're looking at losing car parking spaces. This is why I'm saying Lynn Street should also be considered because of the possibility of Peddler's car park going. So that's all I'm saying. But at no point, and I want to put it on record, at no point am I taking for granted what it's going to be long term for the cost for the council. I fully
John.
understand that.
Right, yeah, I'd like to say, first of all, I support option 2, set out by Jen there. And my thinking about it is that the car parking charge revenue is got to cover, they've got to pay for themselves car parks. This is the fact of life. they will be done like that. Wherever you go, the car parks will have to pay for themselves. They won't come off the precept. It's impossible to run that long term on the precept. And that's why Breckland were looking at, they would have had charges it by now if it hadn't been for the local government reorganisation. So, and they might not have taken into account all the local concerns about parking that we can take into account. Now, we might have to have a separate discussion about that, how we do it, and that will be another issue. But overall, money in for the car parking charges is what pays for those car parks, for the car parks. And there's no other way about it. You've got to charge. And if some remote authority, and we're only probably have one member representing Swaffham on this new unitary authority, what influence are they going to have on how much is charged for that car park? Nil, I would think. And the new authority will make it a cash spinning cow, where they will be strapped for cash because they will be taking on social services, which nearly bankrupted Norfolk County Council. So they would look for it for a profit, probably.
There is another point to this, of course. One thing is taking the car park. The other thing, as Paul mentioned, it's setting it up so it can be a pay park. And we need to know what those costs are going to be. And my big concern for all of this is the rush. Breckland want to rush this through, regardless of what the outcome will be and what we could be saddled with. I need to be sure before I go down that route, I'm afraid.
Yeah, personally, I think Brecklands have been quite transparent with us regarding the transfer of the unitary council and what will be in place. So I don't think, having read the information that was sent through the other day, I even, you know, there is going to be cost saving. If any of us are naive to think that Brecklands are not, you know, they're hiding from us, then so be it. But my thing is, you put that to one side. What Breckland choose to do with the money that they save from maintaining the car parks is entirely up to them. My whole ethos on this is that bearing in mind we don't have much parking in the town, we do have to think about the residents in the town. You know, I understand what you're saying, Graham, I understand what you're saying, Paul, but we are talking long term. Parking will pay for itself if charges and the machines are implemented properly. We will also get the money back on that. But the point in hand here is that Kings Lynn and West Norfolk Council own parking operations. Parking operations is in force in Kings Lynn. When we divide as a unitary council, we will fall in to that area where that parking authority is already in place. They are, no, and I didn't say we know. I am surmising that because, but the same on the other end, Lindsay, there is a lot of surmising that it's going to cost us a lot of money. This isn't going to work. So it's working both ways. This is what a grown-up conversation is all about. It's about taking both sides of the argument. My summation is that because this is a proper up and running, fully functional PCN company, part of Kings Lynn and West Norfolk Council, this will continue. Now, on Sunday alone, I paid £4.50 plus 20p car charge to park for 3 hours in Kings Lynn. This is, I'm not saying that will be the same they will charge here, but you are looking at a possibility of that fully functioning car parking company within the council taking over this without a third party company being introduced. And therefore, we've got no control over the car parking charges. We cannot afford to have a third party come in and take this over. That will cost us more in the long run in terms of reputation, in terms of what this council stands for, and the fact that we don't listen to what actually our residents are wanting. And based on the survey, the residents want us and businesses want us to take back the car park.
Can I just go back? Has anybody else got anything to say?
Just add to the whole thing that we should also bear in mind that the Theatre Street car park is listed on Breckland Council's list of assets as a potential development site. So that's always a fallback position.
I think somebody's written to Aldi and said. So going back to Breckland District Council's own public consultation to explore the future options for managing car parks in a financially sustainable way. They designed it in line with national best practice supported by the East of England Local Government Association and informed by a comprehensive equality impact assessment to ensure inclusivity. This was published almost exactly a year ago across the whole of Breckland Council. Now, of the feedback that they got, it was clear that the vast majority of people did not want to be charged for car parking. So just to reflect that against what our own survey said, because we didn't ask that question, but it was something like 76% were against paying for car parks. So in terms of our reputation with Swaffham Town, with Swaffham residents, if we take the car parks on, as you said, we're almost certainly going to have to charge. 76% didn't want charging, and there were another 8.5% that didn't quite know what they wanted to do. So that forces it up over 80%. So just against that background, that's not out of date. That was a year ago, and it was a very comprehensive study. And I think they got a good take up for that. They did an online questionnaire. They did paper copies that were left in libraries and council offices. They did telephone appointments. They had drop-in events, and they had stakeholder workshops with county, district and town councillors, which I actually attended. So that's the difference between the two surveys. So people don't want to be charged. They also don't want to be charged twice. I've got some questions for Judy.
Yes, I can.
Can you, so we know how much, I think you worked that out, didn't you, John, how much pro rata Theatre Street and Lynn Street were going to cost per annum if we were to take them on, which is about 54,500. Can you tell me, Judy, how that is currently funded?
Right, run that. What, the Kingsley, the Lynn Street?
Lynn Street and Theatre Street is currently costing, I think John worked out 54,500. That's for things like business rates, capital replacement programme, repairs, maintenance, staff costs, winter fitting and all that sort of stuff. It prorated
Yeah,
for Lynn Street and Theatre Street at about that. So could you just tell me simply how that's funded?
Not off the top of my head, I can't.
Is it the taxpayer?
Well, obviously everything comes back to
So
the
it's
taxpayer,
it's
doesn't it?
funded by the taxpayer. So currently,
Sorry, could I do that? Breckland currently receive about approximately half their income from their investments. Just as a point.
so that's.
Sorry, Lindsay, can I just correct something there?
Yeah.
That was actually my study that I put over and not John's.
Oh, sorry, whoever prorated it.
Yeah,
So
so that was actually me, not
that's
John.
cost.
Thank you,
So
John.
this is coming from Breckland's own figures. So they're funded by the taxpayer. So presumably Swaffham Town Council, Swaffham Town residents are already paying for all of these things to maintain the car parks and keep them going and make sure they're resurfaced when necessary. So if the car parks are offloaded to Swaffham Town Council, will the local residents receive a reduction in their council tax payments to reflect that?
You know that I can't answer that because I don't know what's going to happen with the unitary authorities. I don't know whether it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And it will be up to them.
Do you think that this is going to go through before they start being in operation? Because obviously there's quite a lot of speed attached to this and you're wanting to get it tied up before the unitary authorities take over.
Yes.
then surely you must know whether or not there's going to be a reduction in the council tax, not just Swaffham, but if we take them on, then obviously I would expect our residents would have a reduction. In fact, when we did the survey, there was a lady, I thought she ought to be on the town council, if I can find it. She said we're already paying for the car parks through our council tax, which in fact they are. And is she expected to pay
Wait, boy,
again?
can I ask?
Still to
You're
find the website.
bringing up all these questions now. Why couldn't you have brought them up sooner? And you're asking someone not in this meeting,
To make some
you haven't
arrangements.
adjourned the meeting to ask a question from the district councillor.
We've already made our decision. We're bringing it back for another decision this evening. We're having a debate. So, I mean, it's questions that somebody she's actually put here. Then they're redacted, but obviously we already paid for parking in our council tax.
Well, I can, Lindsay, Bretland Council would have already put charges down there if the local government reorganisation hadn't come along. That's the fact. That it wouldn't be on the rates anymore. It would be charges.
I know. We don't, well, they actually aborted that, didn't they?
And also, Lizzie, can I just make a point off the back of John? The point here is you have raised what Brecton did a year ago. Only last week, we've delivered over 3,500 survey, and the surveys came back. And actually part of that survey, the residents didn't mind paying for parking. We're also looking at the possibility.
They were asked though, was
But
it not?
no, but if you read the notes, as you obviously have,
Yes.
you will see, and actually part of Helen's summation was that the residents would be in favour, based on their comments, of their charges being in place. We're also not taking into account that we could possibly, Lindsay, you shouldn't talk over me. You've already told me that once. So, but Lindsay, you're talking over me. So the point here is that you are surmising that this is not what the residents want. When Helen, we did that survey, and I think what's relevant is what is being said now by the residents and the business. And that was a year ago, but this is more recent, like last week.
Question is asked in this questionnaire whether or not they wanted.
And can I ask you why you didn't ask Helen to add those questions into the survey? As the mayor, why did, and you had that knowledge, why did you not ask the town clerk as the mayor to include those questions into the survey that we all took part in delivering?
You've already made a decision.
But that's not answering my question, Lindsay. My question is, as the mayor, with that knowledge, why did you not ask the town clerk to include those questions in the survey? If you're now negating that survey based on those questions, we should never have issued that survey in the first place.
Got the results of this survey, which was done previously.
But we have to make sure that it's inclusive, Lindsay. Inclusive, that's the point. No, but you're saying now that the actual town survey that we did was not inclusive.
But we had this result.
And you're saying that the town survey was not inclusive based on what was asked there. So as the mayor, why did you not ask the town clerk to ensure that we got full coverage of all questions again in the local town survey?
Because we already had these responses back from Brecton.
But it's good to actually tick the box twice to make sure we have everything
I
covered.
mean, we didn't have paper checking of everything, did we? We didn't, it was something that happened quite quickly. So, which was necessary.
Can I say, do you think you're pretty confident then that the new unitary authority will leave that car park free? Are you confident of that? You're not, you've got no
And
idea.
it will have to-
I can tell you, I'm pretty sure they will charge. Well, I might not, but I use some insight, Lindsay, to know and to think about these things. I don't blindly think that this new authority will say, oh yes, free car parking. They won't.
What I would
Because
say
they
though,
have to
John,
recoup the charges.
is that the unitary authority, however it looks, will have that budget allocated to it, which would include payments from our residents by council tax. It's actually previously been used to actually run them.
And you've got
So
to
we'll
look,
have that. We haven't got that.
all the other, Bretland was I think it was the only
authority in Norfolk that didn't charge for parking. All the others did. So that's the basis I'm saying that the car park won't be free.
Well, it won't be anyway.
Not not under, no, but Lindsay is optimistic that they're not going to charge.
Let John finish. Can you finish? Yeah, right, great.
I can't see how we can afford to go into this and have no charges on our car park.
No. And I've already
You
said
agree?
that.
Yeah,
I've already
yeah.
said that, that somewhere, and John is in agreement that somewhere along the line, we will have to implement charges.
Put their hands up on them.
Yeah, go Dave.
Go on, sorry, David.
Right, surely the question after all this is, that's on the table tonight is, are we going to take on these
Yeah.
car parks or not?
And under which
We should be
option?
voting on.
To the options.
Big hand up.
Oppose it? Charge is irrelevant. Charge, not charge. That's not on the table. Today, we need to make a decision. Jen?
Okay, so I make a proposal that we take the car parks on under option 2
I
of
said-
the,
Can I make a counter proposal? Can I make a counter proposal? That if we do take the car parks on, we also take with them the maintenance costs that are actually currently generated from the council tax revenue.
It will be less than.
So that we've got at least some money to fund them.
That's how it is. I
I don't think that's.
I can't think, you can ask for something that's not on offer. Sorry.
So again, I propose that we take the car parks, both car parks on, given the regeneration programme that could happen in the very near future, under proposal 2, which is that we take the car park free of charge with no conditions attached to it.
I have, yeah. You know, I've sat here and I've listened to back forward. And personally, I feel like you as a mayor, Lindsay, don't want the car park. Personally, that's how I feel. And I think other people in the room feel the same. Why? You've got your own reason. Everyone's got their own reasons why. But I think option 2 is definitely the way to go. We're going to save the £515,000, which we don't have the money to do. Well, we do, but we don't. And I think option 2 is the better way, because if we don't, somebody's going to come in and is going to grab it and is going to take it and do what they want to do with it. And then we are, as a council, going to have all sorts of residents come knocking because we didn't do something about it in the first place.
You'll have an Audi next door.
So we need to drastically do it. And we're here to vote on it tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
So can we just stop all this now and please just vote, because thank you.
Can I just clarify
Thank you, Leah.
that option 2 is a free transfer at nil value.
Yep.
Yeah.
Considerations without conditions. so you
Without
are able to
conditions.
Charge. However, we will need to produce, which Helen has already
We've
done,
done.
a bit of evidence demonstrating that there is an improvement to the economic, social or environmental well-being. So there is a slight hiccup there, that if that isn't agreed.
I'm very
However,
good,
having.
and I know I shouldn't.
You can't see it, sorry.
I've asked as a resident for
Sorry,
you guys to look at everything holistically. So if you're,
Hang on a minute. So you're at a session next week.
Go on, Kelly, said it.
sorry,
Go on.
I've asked earlier on, I was asking you, and we were talking about parking. I've asked really nicely for you guys to think about parking holistically,
Mhm.
okay? If you are going to have Lynn Street, which is already a residential parking
is, yeah,
area,
it is.
yeah? You've got Station Street, which has no parking really, apart from a handful of spaces.
Yes, Laurie.
You've got London Street, which we're having problems with already.
Mhm.
If we do not have Theatre Street and we are removing the Buttercross area
Mhm.
parking and around the area for regeneration and pretty gardens, which will absolutely crucify this town,
100%.
because there will be
100%.
nothing here to allow footfall, passers through,
It will be a
etc.
ghost town.
You have to consider that.
It will be a
You
ghost
have
town
to
here.
consider everything holistically, not, I don't want it because of this.
Yeah.
The only option going forward from me as a resident is to have the car parks, to have control over them.
Yeah.
And to make sure we have to pay for the upkeep, but a minimal amount, and see how that works.
Mhm.
And I think the only way forward is you have to think about everything holistically.
Mm.
Whatever you're doing, regeneration, making this town fantastic, which I don't disagree that we're trying to do now. But if we remove parking from the town,
It's vital.
we've got nothing. So we have to have, and we have to
100%.
buy as residents of Swaffham. And I'm saying this probably maybe for everyone, we have to have that. Because Lynn Street's redundant because everyone who lives there parks there.
Residents and businesses.
All your other housing and roads are just residential because the town was built and made for the 1900s, not the 21st century. Yes, sorry, you know.
Thank you.
I also confirm there's both Lynn Street and this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we need to separate.
Did everybody get over there? No, haven't voted yet. Okay, so.
No, we haven't voted. I propose that we go under option 2 to take both car parks without restriction, with Helen providing the letter, and it's both car parks, Lynn Street and Theatre Street.
John will
That's
second
my
it.
proposal.
Yeah, well, David already seconded it.
They've already seconded it.
Second that.
Right, those in favour?
We have clear hands raised.
Les, you touch the ceiling.
Yeah.
This is literally the ceiling.
No, we're against?
Abstaining. Because
Yeah, I'm abstaining.
The 2 against and 2 abstaining.
Right, so number 208, to consider the report and offer letter from Breckenridge Town
Yes.
Can we,
regarding proposed transfer of responsibility. So we've got that.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 and 2.
1 abstention.
Two abstentions. 2 abstentions. Jill and Alison are voting. Paul and Lindsay are against. And
Well, yeah, I understand. And I,
yeah, so.
I would have Kelly and Chisel.
6, 4.
That's neither here nor there. The fact is that whatever happens, this is about people voting for the best intention of the town.
We're just trying to get.
Can I just say why I didn't vote?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that allowed, Lindsay?
Yeah, we're just waiting to get this letter.
I still in two minds on this, and I still think, and as the lady said, you know, about the parking, the car park is still going to be there, whether it's charged or run by Swaffham Town Council, Brecon Council, or the new authority, the car park will still be there. You know, that's still going to be there. So, you know, the ladies, I can understand where she's coming from, but that's still there. The regeneration and the talk about this, the development of the town centre, it's going to happen probably, if it ever happens, it's all a design thing. They're looking at it. It's probably 2 or 3 years minimum down the road before that even hits anything. There will be, if it goes ahead, there will be some loss of parking, mate. But it's still not going to be mega. You're not talking hundreds or dozens of parking spaces. You're only talking sort of a handful of parking spaces will be removed and make the town look a lot better and a lot more pleasant when people are going around the town. And you know, I think to push that and say it's a negative all the time, it's wrong.
We're not pushing it as a negative.
Hang on a minute, can we just move on? Because that's probably a subject.
Let's move on.
It is another subject.
yes.
I'm just telling you why I didn't vote for it.
That's right, so that's fine, and it's recorded, so that's good. Right, 209, to consider the estimated legal fees in relation to the proposed transfer of Brecon Council car parks. The associated.
That's the one. That's not the one.
No, that's if we bought it.
That's not the one.
That's it. That's
the other one.
Them doing the investigation.
That's the next one down. That one. That's the one.
Right, so.
So option 2 for Theatre Street would be a fee of 6,000 plus VAT and disbursements. And Lynn Street is £3,000 plus VAT and disbursements.
Okay, so is someone going to propose that we accept that figure?
Nice. I'll second it.
Those in favour?
Going down that route, we've got no choice.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
This is all part of the democratic process at the end of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's the way the wheels keep turning, Graham, isn't it?
So 210 to discuss the city asset management software. Stephen, I'll look at that. Sounds good.
It's a new software.
Do you want to say a little bit about that, Leanne?
Yeah, me, Helen and Ryan had a demonstration and that just encompasses asset management, asset inspections, inventories, the works can plan all their routes. Everybody at the moment, councillors and staff can take a photo of a bollard in the town that will come to us with the what three words. So we can then create a to-do list, and then we've got a map of all incidents, whether they've been fixed or not.
That's something that's going to be available to residents as well.
Yeah, they're working on opening up so residents can also.
That'll be brilliant, isn't it?
Got one or two questions. One is, where is the data going to be stored? Will it be on our own server or is it in the cloud on the server of this company?
Well, that's who we have all our finance allotments.
It's through Scribe, isn't it?
Yeah, so that would be cloud based.
That's why we get the 20% discount. Because I thought I recognised the bloke who
Yeah,
did the.
yeah.
He's one of the directors, isn't he? It looks a good thing, but I wonder about if at some point in the future we decided that there was another package that's better, would that, all that data that we collected, how transferable would that be to another system?
I don't know. I
Platform.
can't answer that one, I'm afraid.
Easy.
We'd have to take that decision quite carefully because all the allotments and cemetery data is all within that one
Yeah.
software.
One other, it's, you say in the thing, a lot of time is saved. I don't want to cause consternation, but save time by whom? And, you know, and what they're going to do in the saved time. Lots of things. Because, I mean, if they're working.
Longer lunch breaks, cups of
Yeah.
tea.
Lunch breaks. Well, I mean, it's a question though, isn't it? I mean, we've got a certain amount of salary that's paid for a certain amount of time used. And if that time's saved, I hate to say it, but you know, you've got to face, someone will pick it up, won't they? And say, oh, you know, you could save there, but I wouldn't want to go down that route, obviously.
You want to see the
But
benefits of the.
could we,
efficiency.
you know, think that saved time, how could it be used productively elsewhere? Because this is what people say about AI stuff, that it takes jobs away.
Sort of exactly where you were getting at, wasn't it? They don't need so many staff. That's what you,
Well,
just say what you feel.
No, I don't, I would hate that.
He was.
I wouldn't.
Say
I
what
wouldn't
you
want
want,
a-
so you don't need
I
so many
wouldn't want a
staff.
system if it meant sacking someone.
Was going around the
It's not going to save the whole person's job. It's going to lead to a more
Efficient. running of
efficient
the-
running.
I know
Hands-on. Yeah,
But, you know, you're saving staff time, or, you know,
yeah.
and
So you're confident that there will be extra work for them to do.
there's got to be extra work in there that you can do,
Nobody ever sits around.
increase productivity, you know.
Right, any other comments
Yeah,
on
there's
this?
always something to do.
Yeah, does it work a bit like, you know, Norfolk County Council do a highways map, and you, if you want to report rubbish dumped or, you know, a blocked footpath, you go onto an interactive map, find place on it, and
No, I think if you just take a photograph
yeah,
with your signal and that somehow generates the what three words. So
Right.
we can then identify where that is and that will map it for us.
but say I'm out there and think, all right, this needs emptying, I'll take a picture of it. Have I got to send that
No.
to the? No,
There's an app. So you would open the app, take a picture and that would send a report to
Right.
us.
so any resident,
Yeah.
in Swaffham has got to download the app to start.
They will do, yeah.
But that would be something you could tell, put it in the newsletter or tell everybody.
Yeah, that's not available for residents quite
Yeah,
yet. That's
but
something
that
they're
would
working
come.
on at the moment.
So councillors would easily have it, and
Yeah.
and that wouldn't then require a phone call or an email.
And then I think you would be able to then track to say, oh, it's got a tick, it's
Yeah.
been fixed.
Yeah.
It sounds good
Anybody else? In comments?
because the efficiencies outweigh the cost. That's the end of it.
Personally, I would say so. Instead of having an Excel asset register here, and then you've got an inventory there. Everything is there and the map. Yeah.
It's a lot easier from someone spotting a bit of rubbish, you take a picture of it, go straight to you, you get the people out, it's dealt with quicker.
Yeah.
So
So asset inspections, they're all
when it's
on the map,
expenditure.
the assembly rooms, then all your.
My question is, obviously, yes, it sounds brilliant, but is this something that's going to be monitored? How are you going to know that somebody's done that? Are you going to have it constantly monitored, or how will you know that something's been put on there? Or
I think that for staff, that is something that we would use throughout the day.
so you would look at different periods
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Also, it sends notifications through.
Yeah,
This
it
is
would
what
be-
most apps do
it'd be
now,
quite
that you
robust.
get actual physical notifications through actually the app itself or an email. That's how they work.
Well, there could be something positive come out of it, in as much as if we're now taking on a big car park, there will be incidents that need recording and so, yeah, let's sign that. If it's
The
available.
Times,
Yeah.
Graham.
As long as it don't cost someone their.
Right, so we're discussing, there's a discussing and considering this. So has anybody got a proposal to make?
I'll propose that we take, yeah.
I'll second it.
Those in favour?
Did you say you might as well, Paul?
Might as well.
Did you? We're not bullying you two, you don't have to.
That's different.
111 then to discuss and consider purchasing town planters and lamppost brackets requiring consent housing. So, anybody got any?
I preferred the one, obviously they're all being mounted on lampposts by the look of it,
Mhm.
on with the solid.
Ones that clamp around the map lamppost, yeah.
But the actual basket was attached physically rather than by a chain.
Yeah.
Because obviously people could chuck things at them and they're gonna swing about or hit them with a stick or whatever, you know, what people like around. Not everyone. But those that want to damage stuff, it will be easier for them to damage it.
Is there a cost attributed to them?
Yeah.
There was a spreadsheet.
What's the maintenance on those?
There's self-watering ones which you top up like once, twice a week. You know, and they just these planners. There was a,
Yeah.
Leanne sent the email around with the attachments.
Yeah, there weren't any costs, were there?
Any more time to do planting?
I love gardening.
At the parking lot.
And obviously, the other thing to consider about the plants was there was a colour choice.
Black.
I'm not saying the preference at this moment in time.
Pink.
No, my preference would be black.
Yeah.
Because then
Did you
it matches
bring up the
the-
colour choices? Because
What are we looking at? Red, white and blue.
it's got the solid down,
So technically, my preference would be, as they said, the ones that are attached to the lamppost, which are self-watering and in black, which goes with the street furniture that we've got in town. The other thing that I would propose is that we actually get a couple of hanging planters to go on the rails of the assembly rooms. You can get them where they actually bolt to the actual railings, but it would be nice visually if you could have the trough planters,
Whereabouts?
the assembly rooms railings.
Could I just suggest though, that we ask the Friday market traders, because they actually put their.
We use that for banners.
Yeah, on there, so they may not be going.
You would have to go dry ceiling for that, afraid.
Yeah, we can, yeah. I just think that visually that would look nice. You can also get the banners on.
Yeah, can I ask, how many lampposts are you proposing to do? The scheme goes ahead.
Graham, every single one.
No, no. I personally, my personal opinion is, as you drive in and you have the market square, that the lampposts around the actual main market area, as you come into the centre of town, that's where the baskets are. Not all the way down the roads on every road, but it's visually the impact of the whole market area as you drive into town.
How many?
The lampposts.
The vibration of the traffic all back and forth. Anyway.
No, it makes walls fall down on the houses.
If they're fixed onto the lamppost, correct?
Yes.
I'm just like that. I'll fill.
Jen, yes, about the actual perimeter of the market,
The perimeter of the market,
not the outside areas, just within the market.
The street lamps.
No, so you've got the lampposts, yeah, those ones, but the lampposts that are obviously like Tutankhamun side and Red Lion side, those side, but also nice ones, or if we can do the troughs on the assembly rooms, but you know, a couple of ones within the market area, but it's specifically within that area, perimeter of the actual market place itself. So as you drive down the roads, either side you've got market, you've got flowers, and also on the edges of the market.
Can I, can we refer this to the assets? There's a deeper discussion about where they're going with a plan.
Yes.
Yeah, we need.
And also, sorry, the office staff, they'll have time to fill the baskets with the spare time.
Well, they will, because Tom,
When's the next asset?
Hang on, put your gloves on.
Right, so can we come up with some sort of plans, if we're ready to discuss it for the asset?
Yes.
The cost, we already have quite a number of plants that we put out every year. Obviously, the ground staff do that. Now, these will be extra and above that. So will we be increasing our flower budget or whatever you want to call it?
already increased the budget.
Will be replacing the ones at the entrances to Swaffham, like Norwich,
Oh, that's down the road.
Brandon, Station Street, Brandon Road,
So we're doing away with one, you're putting in another.
No,
yes.
but also we've already increased the budget.
Before the
Yes.
next asset.
We've increased the
And
budget
if
for-
you can think about what you'd like,
Yeah.
and then we can discuss that.
Yes,
Excellent.
around to the plan.
Yeah.
Yes,
Arrange to go around town.
That's a good scheme.
yes.
Something that's needed.
It'll be pretty.
Right, to discuss and to review and adopt town council policies. So it's just the grant, match funding and sponsorship one, which is here, and there are a few changes. Do you just want to go through those? I think it's up to 3,000, not over 5 years, isn't it? Yeah. And the application dates, the annual budget's £3,000. The funding window opens from the 1st of April to the 30th of June each year.
There's changes
That's
each
new.
quarter, so just having one.
Yeah.
set budget, one in the.
Okay, that's it, isn't it? The changes. Yeah, so are you happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Can we shake hands? Yeah, we all right with that? Hello, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again.
That's exciting. Everybody?
Yeah.
So we're going on to finance now, 213 for the receipts for January 2026. So I think it's interesting.
We've got the gazebos.
Yeah,
Yes.
the gazebos of, yeah. Did you meet both in the summer doing gazebo? You know,
You coming?
Fine, I'll study for the town plan, wasn't it?
Right, so everybody
Yeah,
happy
yes.
with the
Yes.
receipts? Any questions? Good. So to approve payments, which we had through yesterday. didn't we? Yeah. So So everybody happy to approve the payments?
Yes.
Yes, show of hands. And to approve bank reconciliation up to date of the payment. Everybody agree with that? Yeah, I've been healthy.
I'll be solved, but that's the main thing.
No, no.
I'll go to a holiday.
I'll see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm following Jill.
So the final point is to agree the date, the next full council meeting on Wednesday, the 11th of March.